So are we feeling a bit better in our hearts, knowing that we have taken this initiative? Are we? By a show of hands. Are we feeling better in our hearts? No. All right. So now that's why we have a question and answer session now. All right, where some of our burning concerns can be addressed. Now, one of the things that I want to mention here is that I don't think, and I stand to be corrected, there is not an independent body that investigates matters as it relates to confrontation between prison officers and prisoners. And I would like to urge my dear friend on the left that if, this could be taken into consideration and an independent body can be set up to investigate all these matters that we often hear of taking place within our prison system. The fights, the riots, the refusal of foods. We had a report the other day where a female inmate was badly beaten. According to the report, when I asked the Commissioner of Prisons about it, according to the report that he received, his officers were attacked, and one was being choked almost to death. Again, that information came from the investigation team of the officers themselves. In other words, they investigated themselves. All right? So I'm calling on the authorities, whomsoever could take up this task, to recommend and to put in place an independent body that could investigate these matters, and a report be sent to the Commissioner of Prisons, at which point in time he'd be in a better position to make a decision. All right, so now I want to pass the mic on to the floor and encourage questions. And we're going to do this in a very orderly way. Persons who have a question will raise their hands, and you'll be given the opportunity to ask your question or lay your concern. We have the magistrate here on my left. He has not been given the permission to speak or to give a short address, but he was given the permission to answer questions. So you all can pose questions to him, and he will try his endeavor best to treat with those questions as they come. All right, also you can feel free to ask the commissioner here from the prison who is present, and Farid Ali as well, and any other members of the United Prison Movement. All right, so who has the first question? Testimony. You want the mic or?
Good afternoon, everybody, to the chair. One of the questions really burning my desire, right? We speak about the prisoners, we speak about the people in the prisons, but we're not hearing about the people that have the loved ones in the prison, how they feel, how the children growing up, how fast they're making a move to address justice in the prison. We haven't heard about the speedy, the move to make some kind of move for the speedy, for the justice in the prison. We haven't heard about that. I don't know who is the person who could address that for me right now, because you're having prisoners 5 and 6 years waiting on justice. And I, as a parent, can't help. The magistrate can't help as far as I hear in here. Right? So, where we stand, if I can't help, the lawyer can't help, the magistrate can't help, where are we at? That's my question.
Magistrate Ali, would you want to take that?
Good afternoon, everyone. I would have been introduced a little bit earlier on by the Imam, and I want to thank everyone for having us involved. I do believe that in order to achieve anything, there must be some sort of consultation from all parties involved. I should hear these pain and suffering that I've heard today. And it's not the first time I've been hearing it. As Mr. Farid Ali suggested, not very long ago, I actually was a practicing attorney as a defense counsel. Prior to that, I prosecuted. So I have some experience in the overall administration of justice system. So thank you for inviting us now. And now I sit in a different position and I can attest to what goes on there. Now, that's an extremely difficult question to answer. I think Mr. Mohammed and everyone else will attest to that. I could only speak from the position of the magistracy now and what I have seen taking place very recently to address what is a serious backlog in terms of cases. As I said in the past, I would have defended persons who were in prison for more than 10 years. I know what it is like. Sitting on this side of it now, I can surely say that, and Mr. Ali can attest to this, in court, we have now more robust systems in place for something we call case management. It really is to ensure that a matter is fixed to proceed to trial. He would have alluded to something called a certificate of analysis. It really is simple. How would the court know that you didn't have bandana on you and it was really marijuana? It has to be sent to forensic science center. Legally, a firearm, it still has to be sent for a test to be done. I can tell you that it does take as much as 5 years on occasions to come back before court. And the frustration is not only yours, and I understand that as family members of prisoners, your frustration is a lot worse than anyone else in the system. But I can tell you from sitting as a magistrate is not an easy job. It is quite frustrating even for me to have to go to a court every single day and hear hundreds of matters. And the thing is, your family members come before persons like myself and they express all their frustration to me. Imagine what they would say to me when they think that the court or a magistrate or a judge is the cause of their incarceration. So I totally understand. What I can say is that we case managing a lot better now in the High Court. Persons who have the experience will know that they have employed persons called masters who are to ensure that matters are set for trial and everything is in place before we were to proceed. So a judge or a magistrate can do the work they hired to do, adjudicate upon things, and not have to be spending a lot of time every day dealing with managing cases to find out whether the police collected the certificate, why it was not collected. So we've done that. So far I can speak to that. Ms. Ali again could attest, and maybe some of you here, the Honorable Justice Lucky had initiated something called a fast-track court for persons who were in the system too long and wanted to hear their matters in a court vacation period. So judges have actually started sitting at a time when they're not even supposed to be sitting. They're entitled to some sort of vacation then. So they started that as another initiative.
How far are we reaching the fast track? What you can say from the reaching of the fast track? How far you reached there? What you can tell us how far you reach? And when if you start, when you started, how far you reach?
I need to have a little more context with respect to that question, and I'm not in a position to answer it because I sit as a magistrate. You all will know that I am in the lower courts. Judges sit in the high court, and the fast-track court is actually in the high court. But those are initiatives, and I believe that the system is one total system because we are still stuck in the days where we have a preliminary inquiry at the magistrate's court, and then it goes before a judge and jury at the high court. So I am still at the lower level, and the fast-track system is at the higher level. What I can say as well is that we have hired in the magistracy something called a registrar, and that person deals with all the administrative functions at the court. Before, a magistrate used to have to do it. Imagine a magistrate would have to decide to close a court if a sewer system is acting up, right? Those are not things in which a magistrate is traditionally hired to do. We now have persons who, if they can take some of that burden off of the shoulders of a magistrate, we can, as I said, perform the function we hired to do and hear cases and dispense with matters. I understand that all persons want to come before court is to have their day in court. Whether it be that they found guilty or not, they just want to have their day in court. And I speak and I say that without fear of contradiction because I defended, I prosecuted, and now I sit as a magistrate. So I know that's all they want. And those are the things that I think we're trying to free up. Now, I'm not saying, as the Imam rightly said, change takes some time within everything to occur. So it is going to take some time. There are lots of changes that is still yet to be made at the magistracy that I am really hopeful will be made. And it can only come from the powers that be, because everything takes funding, right? We can go out there with the best of intentions, but if the funding is not there to do certain things, then it's just extremely difficult to have it done, right? So I'm not sure if I assisted at all with answering the question, but I'll pass it over to Mr. Mohammed to see if he has a take on it. It's a very wide question.
Excuse me, I think this meeting is over in 3:30. I don't know.
I wasn't even
Just
informed.
asking.
I only found out about the
There's
meeting
a time
yesterday.
frame because I think it might have other speakers.
Sure.
And I think we... No, it's not that. I think the people kind of get what you say to that extent. No mean to be disrespectful, right?
No, at all.
Right. First thing first, good afternoon to the head table. Good afternoon, everybody. I am sure the people here will agree with me that we really didn't come here begging at anybody's mercy for what is taking place with the inmates, especially the ones unremanded, right? Whoever is responsible for what is taking place inside of there is breaking the law. And if you're breaking the law, then we're not supposed to come here to beg for the persons that is in power who supposed to make sure things run right in this country, being the ones breaking the law. We didn't come here to beg, as I was listening to, be lenient and who happy or however the case may be. One of the questions I want to ask is, how long, just now I have some questions here to ask. One, are there any specific time frame for any accused of breaking the law to be put on trial? That is one of the questions, right? And if so, why isn't there any specific time frame for that if not? Why are remanded inmates being housed in a prison and not in a correctional facility? Because it's remanded prisoners are not convicts. I was listening to somebody talking about remanded prisoners and how good that they're doing. I would want to know how long that remanded prisoner is inside there, how long is the frame, and if you are on remanded, you're supposed to be innocent till proven guilty. So I don't understand how come somebody who hasn't been convicted of a crime is actually going through these things. I want to know how long those inmates are in, those remanded inmates are in there, right? People are inside there 10 years, 15 years, some, and then as it is being said, at the ending up of all of this, most of the time they walk free. These people is actually serving a life sentence without being sentenced for a crime. When you really look at it, right? Some of them are serving time that doesn't even fit for the punishment that they did. They have murderers. They have people, well, we know it as cock tax, those who not paying child support, however the case may be, on little petty theft and all these things, right? They have everybody in one place. So what you all expect for somebody who come in a decent, well, I wouldn't say if you're going in there remanded, we all know the law here, you're guilty until innocent. So you go on